I'm gonna mix up 60, how much am I gonna mix up? Because you guys know I'm really good with math. I'm gonna mix up about 60 ounces, yeah, so I don't even have to really look at it. So it's all right, we're gonna erase all of that because I'm full of shit. All right, so we're in the big push. I'm sweaty and I'm nasty, but I'm going to show you some stuff. Here's the tires for Derek's OBS. Not a rubber band, see? It's a 40 series. It's going to fill the hole. It's going to look good. I'm not going to tell you what we're doing for wheels. You're going to have to wait for that. But look at that. That's some meaty. That's a 295 on the back. And it's not going to be crazy. It's not steamroller, but that will fit in that. Easy. That fits in there. With the right tech suspension, it's all going to be a really nice running and driving truck. So I'm doing a combination of body work and sanding and prep for paint. Very little body work left to do. Not really, just some blocking. As you can see, the two different colored primers. That's what I call a finishing primer. That's my urethane primer, and that's still polyester. So we got some slogging to do. I think there's dust on the lens. You're probably seeing it. Anyway, there's a fuzzy thing right there, and that's a welding scar on the lens. All the details that you don't need to know. Anyway, we are rolling along. Rolling. Keep that bodywork rolling. Rolling on the truck. For the hood and for most of this vehicle, I'm going to use a combination of hand sanding techniques using an interface pad so I don't cut finger grooves into the complex areas, combined with machine sanding that is going to help me surface down the big flat areas. There's no such thing as a flat panel on any vehicle, and this one is no exception. The OBS trucks are famous for their great styling and contoured edges, complex shapes, rounded off corners. As a matter of fact, the bed is actually narrower on the back than it is on the front where it meets the cab. So certain care has to be applied when it comes to properly prepping these areas. You can't treat it like a big dang box and throw a DA sander at it and hope that it's gonna come out perfect once it's under the gun. You also heard me mention that I've got a different primer surfacer that I'm prepping right now than when I used for shaping the body panel's blocking. I used a polyester primer over top of my wipeable filler, which is a very, very hard composition. The urethane primer is much easier to sand, although it doesn't have the build properties of the polyurethane. So it's a combination of steps. First step being leveling the bodywork, second step spraying the polyester primer and leveling the polyester primer, thereby putting a shell on the rest of the vehicle. Follow that with the urethane primer that is mostly prepped for paint, but we still have the opportunity to correct some imperfections and to smooth areas out that we may not otherwise get the opportunity to. If that sounds like a lot of work, yep, it's a lot of work. The reward is when you pull the trigger on the spray gun and you see the flat panels and you don't get distracted by any scratches that you missed or ripples in the surface or imperfections. And then you got another opportunity at the end of that game with sanding and polishing, but that's another episode. So this recipe of using a dual action sander for the flat spots with no interface pad, a very flat pad, as well as a flexible hand sander around the contours in the body panels, It allows me to get the job done quickly and efficiently and move on to the next panel because there's 14 of them. So, moving on. This is final surface prep. This is exciting. The grill is not primed and requires just a light scuffing pad to prep it for sealer. Once I've established my recipe for prep, I follow it on every single panel because it just kind of gives me a method to prep the rest of the vehicle. So these areas in here, this is never going to be seen ever again until somebody takes the bed off the truck again. Is it important to sand there? Yeah, it is. Why? You know why. All these internal areas right here. So just about the entire truck is completely disassembled other than the doors and fenders. The only reason we're not is because it's already been jammed out, it's already in the black paint. So I am not gonna put this truck back together again to paint it. Why? Well, because then you rob yourself of the ability to paint things like these side edges, the back sides. You eliminate the tough spots to get a wet coating of paint on. All the little nuances of this grill. Spraying this thing with the headlights in, you're not going to get a nice wet coat of paint on there. So to do it blown apart is the best way to get a good paint job on it, and also give yourself the opportunity to have it look like a factory paint job where it was refinished before it was assembled. It's kind of the same thing. And with all of that, we can still have the opportunity to polish it, or most of it, before we get painted anyway. So all kinds of prep. There's not going to be one paint job on this truck. It's going to be 3 different sessions. It's a lot of paint job. It's a lot of different things, but that's the way I've decided to do this one to get the show driver Zed sled with a pickup bed quality. So right here we've got this fruit salad of parts. We've got a steel hood. We have raw plastic mirrors. This is plastic. The grill is raw plastic. The bumper has been painted, and it's just as we've got a fruit salad of different substrates. So they all get the same coating. So we have different prep to get them all ready for the same coating. And you know, along the way, I'll walk you through those processes. And in the meantime, we got to strip some stuff down. I got to pull the rest of this stuff off here. If you just mask it up, then you're going to have hard edges around everything. And you guys know. We don't want that. We want it to have a nice appearance. We don't want these hard edges to peel back because we couldn't prep into those tight 90-degree corners. So, yeah, that's what we're doing, man. It's a boatload of work, but the reward is worth it. So, for now, we got some dis and some assembly, i.e., disassembly. Hopefully I don't break anything else. Huh. That was loose, Chad. Oh, that sounded nice. And this tag pocket, I think it's just 10 millimeters. Now we can prep this for paint, right? No, not yet, because guess what? It's black. Yeah, we're going to clean it. We're going to clean it twice. We're going to clean with water and then solvent-based cleaners. Before I do that, I'm going to wear gloves. My thing's broke. Dang it. How did that happen? I'm so sad. Golly. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to witness the passing of a really good pressure-based cleaner. Not so fast. Outsmart me, will you? Sure. While we've got the waterborne cleaner, I'm going to clean these mirrors also. Well, that was that was short-lived. I like it when stuff. Oh, wait. Okay, I don't know what is happening. Things are working and they weren't working. I don't know what's going on, man. I think this answers the question as to why body men drink. All right, so the grill has already been prepped, cleaned, pre-cleaned, and all the stuff. So I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to clean with solvent now. This is the towel I'm going to use to clean it. And guess where the solvent jug is? It's in the other shop. Guess what it's sitting beside? So Kevin, why do you wear gloves? Is it because you don't want to get your hands dirty? I could repeat a really vile comment that I read online when somebody made an observational note that I wore gloves during prep steps. And here's the truth. It's not because I'm worried about getting my hands dirty. It's not because I'm going to ruin my manicure. And if you know, you know. It's so I don't transfer what's on my hands and fingers onto my work surface. Plain and simple. It's that simple. I had fried chicken for lunch, and I ate it with my hands because that's how you eat fried chicken. If I can prevent a problem from happening before it happens, I'm about that. So that's what that's about. So, yeah, I wear them. I wear them.
And that's all I have to say about that.
So these are glossy black. Here's another thing. They're the color that the rest of the truck is going to go. The grill was also. Why would I bother painting that when it's already shiny black? Well, the reality is raw plastic that's unpainted is going to deteriorate super fast in the sun, and it's going to chalk up and look different than the painted stuff around it. So I want the same coating on every bit and piece so that the whole paint job lasts for 30 years, not just parts of it. So now I believe, I'm going to set this off to the side. Now I believe we're ready to start making some noise. So in my tenure, I've been able to incorporate hardcore restoration techniques and tools and equipment with modern collision repair, highly efficient tools and equipment, DA sanders and things like that. On the hood prep, you saw me. I use a combination of hand blocking, hand sanding, and spinny whirly tools, and we're just going to keep on going down that road. Is there a place for 100% hand sanded work? Sure there is. And I'm not cutting corners on this truck. You see me, I'm not cutting corners. But there's also a place where we can mix technology in with efficiency and old school techniques as well. So we're going to use the vacuum sander because I like a clean shop on these big flat parts. And then we'll come back in and hand sand things. So for now, we're using the vacuum sander with an interface pad. I'm going to sand that with 600 grit. And guess what? I happen to have a box of 600 grit paper right here. Well, so much for not having to put the whole paint process on here. But hey, that's okay. At least I found out. There's a rock chip there. You can see where I feathered it out. Now it's just going to be nice and smooth. It's not going to map through the paint job. There's another place right here that I sanded a rock chip. On this, the coating, I'm just going to tell you, is very thin on this bumper. So it's probably a good thing that we found out that it was thin. So like I said, we can go through the whole paint process, which is going to be a sealer, clear coats, I'm sorry, sealer, color coats, and then clear coats. So we have 600 grit, followed by the gray scuffing pad, which is 400-ish, 400 to 600 range. And then we're ready to, yeah, we'll put our sealer on there. Yeah, so anyway, the parts will talk to you, man. You may not like what they have to say every single time, but they will talk to you. Smacked me. Okay. I'm going to tape up the unleaded fuel only sticker. Somebody else has been here before me, right? So there's a ridge around there. They did a nice job taping up that label, but I'm going to tape up that label because you can get these online cheap. And I could peel that off, get another one and put it over top, but then I got a tape line around it that I got to cover up. So juice not worth the squeeze. Do one of those with the dull razor blade. like that. Now, I'll pin this against some device and mount this just like it sits on the truck. Now we're going to take a bath. So if you're asking yourself why I'm going through the steps of washing this in a formal way, as opposed to just using my bottled cleaners, it's because I get to wash the stands, get all that sanding dust and slurry out of the stands, and I get a real thorough cleaning into the pores and all the scratches and scuffs that I've made in this surface. And all that dry sanding dust is guaranteed to come out of there, and it won't interfere with anything. So this is my anti-static gun. This is a tack rag. So we'll tack, and then we'll blow off with the anti-static gun, especially on plastic. It has so much static cling that this really helps the process. We want a nice clean paint job. The big problem with the tack rag is when you rub it on a surface, it builds a static charge, right? Yeah, it does. Now something like this, if you look underneath, I've got it all masked off under there. Probably won't get any overspray, but if I didn't mask it, it would. All right, we're ready to spray. This has been a game changer for me. If you're a serious painter, check into one of these. All of my stuff for the paint job is laid out here. I have sealer. I haven't put the hardener in yet, but that's the volume of sealer. Color coat, Nason full base. I have my adhesion promoter for the raw plastic parts, and that's, of course, reducer for the color. That's for the sealer. And we're trying out a clear coat that I've never used before. Some people say it's pretty good. We're going to find out. I'm going to test drive this stuff. And I also have my TDS sheets for all the stuff. So step one is adhesion promoter on the raw plastic. Don't roll the dice. Raw plastic needs an adhesion promoter and a sealer on top of it. So this requires one coat. It's a closed structure coat, meaning a medium wet coat, and then 15 minutes flash before we put our sealer on top. So let's suit up. So this is not a product that requires a build or any thickness. What it requires is full coverage on the plastic. And it sets up the plastic for the paint to stick. Now this grill is going to be challenging. They're fun to paint because you got all those things, all those little areas. So I'm just going to treat it a zone at a time. I'm also going to spray it from the back side just to make sure I've got all the little areas. All these little holidays. I don't want paint flaking off from back here. All right, good. 15 minutes, which is about enough time to mix up our sealer. The sealer that we're using comes from Axalta, and it's a dark gray sealer. It's very close to the black color that we're putting on top for a color coat, so if he gets any rock chips going down the road, and I hope he does, I hope he drives it, then the dark gray sealer won't show as bad as like a light gray would. This is a one-coat application, and I'm going to use the same gun that I used to spray my color to spray the sealer. All right, so the first thing I did was make sure my breathing apparatus was on. Second thing is I'm setting my spray gun. Third thing, we test the gun. Everything's working great. All right, so now we're going to work that's what I love about two air hoses. We're going to work that way. You always want to check your... I've got the gauge on the back of the gun, and it was feeling like it wasn't spraying smooth. I wanted it at 28 psi, and it had gone down to 30. So always check your stuff, check your settings. That's better. It just feels better. Parts like this are tricky, man. They are tricky. They require multiple angles. Get everything wet. Everything's got to be wet. It's got to be a closed coat. Closed structure of droplets. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm kind of goofing up my spray technique, tilting the gun down. I want to make sure and get all those flats inside the grill openings. Did I get those? Oh, I'm gonna hit it one more time just because. Just because. And that looks nice and wet from the back. Grill done. Hanging myself up. All right, we're gonna shake our color. It's unreduced, and it's just a good idea to shake it up before you mix it up and spray it on. Come on, this one needs a kickstart. Just a couple of minutes of that. And this is equal parts, easy to mix. I'm gonna mix 24 sprayable ounces. Bam, there we go. And there's 12 ounces. How about that? Look at that. Wipe its chin. We'll put the lid back on and we're gonna use mid-temp reducer because it's mid-temp. Go up to the 24, 12 and 12 is 24. And that's why we wear PPE. Because you're going to get a splash every once in a while. So we've got a new outer cup, and we don't mix into our spray cup. We mix into a secondary cup, and then we strain into our spray cup, right? Why? Why, Kevin? Because best practice. That guy locks in, and we're going to go ahead and just set that over there, and when the dinger goes off, we'll spray. So I am using the same spray gun to spray the sealer coat as well as my color coat. So I'm going to switch to a clear coat gun because I like the way it performs better with the thinner clear coats. But I'm cleaning the dang thing out between steps. Because that way I don't cross-contaminate any of the sealer. I don't get any weird lumps in it. It's activated at a different time. In fact, the base coat is not activated at all. It doesn't have a hardener in it. All right, so I'm going to set my spray gun. Watch, watch. Ah, there it is. Oh, what's that? Oh, I'll fully open. Oh, perfect setup. Perfect setup. On the mixing cup. This is made by Sada. They've finally come out with a plastic cup liner. I like it a lot. And we're ready to go, man. Set my gun, 25 PSI. Everything looks good. All right, so I was thinking that this wasn't covering that well, but it is. It's fine. Black usually covers almost 100% in the first coat, but this one is not. That's okay. What's more important than coverage is the way it dries evenly. So this is kind of a test to see if I have enough paint material to finish one complete coat with 24 ounces. All right, so I had enough for a full coat. So it asks for 5 to 10 minutes between coats. It's been fully 5 minutes since I started at that end. So I'm going to go up and mix some more color, come back in, and just do another coat. I'll probably put 3 color coats on just to make sure that I've got full coverage. Now it doesn't take base color long to dry at all. 8 to 10 minutes between coats, it's not very much, and it takes me about 25 to 30 to get through a complete coat on all of these parts. That said, coverage is great, everything looks nice and velvety and smooth, and we're ready for clear. It looks great, it looks dry, and it looks ready to coat, but it's not yet. We got some flash time to wait, so we got to resist the urge to hammer some clear on it. It'll happen soon enough. So we're done with color. Everything looks good. I'm very happy with it. And that taught me a couple things. It taught me my route around the parts and what I need to do, what stands I need to move. And between coats of paint and stuff like that, it also told me what volume I need for a full coat. Once you do a coat of something, it's pretty much translates. So about 24 ounces gets me all the way around all of those parts. Why is that important? Well, it's important because I know now how much material to mix up to get me a full coat. There's a long pot life on the clear coat that we're going to be using, so it doesn't really matter. I can mix up a whole bunch. But how much do I use? If you pay attention to your materials usage during the course of a coat, it can teach you your strategy, or at least help with your strategy, all the way through the paint job. Now we've got a little bit of time to wait between color and clear. I've got up to 24 hours before I have to scuff and recoat color, so I've got lots of time. So I'll have lunch. See you in a bit. I'm switching guns for clear coat. I'm going to a 1.2 because it's a smaller droplet and it has the potential of laying out smoother if you spray it right. It just breaks it up better. So this is my clear gun. We used a 1.3 on the sealer and the color. So this is the 1776 clear. It's a 4-to-1 mix ratio. Both components are here. And since it took me 24 ounces-ish to put a coat on, I'm going to mix enough material to where I think that'll get me 2 coats, and then we'll go from there because I'm putting 3 on this project. So I'm going to mix clear, pour my clear in first. I've just found mixing numbers on the side that go up to 5. So it is a 4-to-1. 4 parts clear, and then the next part catalyst. That gets us our 4-to-1 ratio. And accuracy and consistency, right? That's what we need, accuracy and consistency. And we've got plenty to do this project. Typically, a urethane clear coat has about a 1-hour pot life. And if you know what a pot life is, you don't need me to explain it, but basically it's the usable time that you've got with a product once you add a hardener to it. There's a lot of technical jargon and science that we could talk about when it comes to pot life and viscosity and rheology and all the ologies. But all we really need to know, wait 8 to 10 minutes between coats and up to 12 hours to recoat. And it says it all right here. This is the data sheet for it. All the information you need is right there, and it's available at the website. Just like every paint manufacturer's info is available at the website. So we should be good there. I'm going to use the taller cup, and I'm going to double strain into this cup. Like I said, I've played around with this clear, but I've never really done a full paint job with it, so I'm stoked, man. I'm excited. Lock that baby in. All right, put the suit up. Meet you in the booth. This clear coat likes to be sprayed like you want to see it. What that means is that you spray it slick and flat with a nice overlap and very even, and it looks good. Like any paint product, you gotta wait the between coat times. It's referred to as a flash time, but it's the amount of time that you have to wait for the solvents to gas out of it in between applications. We're using 3 coats, so we've gotta respect our flash times. The most difficult part of this paint job, other than prep on surface detail parts, was navigating around all the panels on stands with my fresh air hose and my spray hose, but you just get used to it. The panels look super glossy, and the black is the same black that GM used on the 454 SS truck, which is the black they used on all trucks carried over for many, many years, but they look great. The grill is not raw plastic anymore. It's going to match the tone of the rest of the parts, and it's going to hold up for 40 forevers under the sun. All the rest of these parts, the bumper, yeah, we're going to sand and polish some of the parts. The rest of these, they can stay right here on these stands until we are ready to reassemble this truck. So that's got some waiting time. We're going to let that rest. I've got a lot of prep work to do on the rest of the truck. On the bed, we've still got some priming to do, and then the cab, I got to finish prepping the cab. And in the meantime, we're going to show you all of it. You're going to see a lot more of the Derek OBS truck episodes coming until we get the silly thing done. The deadline is real, man. C10's in the city, May 3rd. This video is going to live on forever on YouTube, I hope, but for now, the clock is ticking. So come to C10's in the city. Come and meet me and Derek and see this truck up close. I'm going to be proud of it. I'm already proud of it. So thank you for watching Paintucation by Kevin Tetz and for subscribing and commenting. I always want to know what you guys think. Give me your feedback. And in the meantime, links in the descriptions, hit the bell, all the things, whatever. We've spent from 9 o'clock until about 4:30. We've got about an 8-hour session. I'm tired. I'm kind of giddy. So I'm just going to say we'll see you next Saturday.